Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
My 39 male, wife 38 female of 10 years wants an open marriage after I advised her to use Tinder as a confidence boost. My wife and I have always been on the bigger side. After our second child, now 4 years old, I made a lot of lifestyle changes. I started going to the gym, doing powerlifting, and running a lot. I tried to encourage my wife to participate, and in the beginning she was really enjoying going to the gym, but eventually she relapsed into bad habits. I'm not one to push too much, and I always ensured her I would love her no matter what size she was. We were still having sex about 3-4 times a week, in which we both always enjoyed and pushed each other to try new things. Recently, my wife noticed that a woman from my gym had commented on one of my gym videos on Instagram. It was a video of me beating my personal record in a deadlift, with about 10 people from the gym cheering me on, including the woman who commented. The comment was along the lines of "fantastic result." On to the next. I can understand my wife's insecurity, but I reassured her there is literally nothing there. This is someone I occasionally chat to during exercises, and one of the guys helping me in the video is her husband. Anyway, basically it came down to her feeling I was getting far more attractive than her, and she was afraid I would leave her for some young and beautiful girl at the gym. We got into a friendly discussion. I proclaimed that if we were to both make a Tinder account now, she would probably still end up getting far more matches than me. Knowing that there are infinite amounts of horny guys, I was fairly sure of my hypothesis. I've never been on a dating app myself, but I assume as a decent-looking 39-year-old that is in shape, I would get some matches. We both installed Tinder and bought the Tinder Gold auction so we could swipe in another city, both terrified of neighbors seeing us or something. We decided to put our locations to London and then started watching a movie. The mood during all this was giggly and fun. After the movie, 2 hours, we both checked our phones again. My wife had 330 likes. You can see who has swiped you with Tinder Gold, and I had 1. Her phone was blowing up. The first guy to start talking to her looked like a cross between Khal Drogo and The Rock, who was also a dentist, was sure to show this in his pics, and was very down for meeting my wife tonight. I could tell right there and then from my wife's reaction that all this attention was turning her on. We sat together on her phone for about half an hour just watching these messages pour in. So many compliments from 6'2" male model types, guys wanting to meet up, guys sending their number. Every kind of race and type of guy was there to choose from at her fingertips. When she asked about my matches and saw I only had 1, she let out an "Oh, at least I still want you, honey." Called me crazy, but this is the moment I saw in her eyes that everything was different. It was. Like suddenly she was realizing she could do better than me and fuck an unlimited amount of hot guys. We deleted our accounts that night and didn't really talk about it much more. I, for one, was scared to bring it up and felt humiliated that I had only gotten 1 match. To make it worse, she looked far worse than me. My wife even made fun of my match. Over the course of the next weeks, my wife started to reject my sex more and more. 2 months later, we hadn't had sex in a month. She was cold, bitter, started to have mood swings. This is when I let my bad side get the better of me. One day when she was visiting her mom, I grabbed her work laptop that she always stores in her office drawer and decided to see what I could find. I found out that she was using Tinder on her work laptop browser and had been talking to guys from all over the world the past weeks. Dubai, New York, California, you name it, she had swiped there. The conversations mentioned her being single, and everyone was sexually explicit in nature. All the guys she was talking to were 10 years younger than us too. Then I decided to try whatsapp.com to see if she would have left that logged in. I felt sick to my stomach reading her WhatsApp messages, but I had to know. I discovered that her 2 best friends, who have recently become single also and have been dating a lot on Tinder, have been pushing her to realize what you can get and have been trying to get her to leave me or force me into having an open marriage. She often sends them screenshots of the guys she is matching with and is openly contemplating cheating on me. I have been spying on her work laptop whenever she is out now for about 3 weeks. She still doesn't know. Yesterday, she very lightly brought up the open marriage to me, but framed it in a way that made it seem like I could do whatever I wanted and that she knew I'd want to fool around. She claims to not be using Tinder anymore since our experiment. I'm just absolutely devastated. A few months ago, and we were great, and now it feels like my life is falling apart. It seems so animalistic what is happening. I don't want to believe my wife is this shallow, but it seems like she thinks she can do better than me and just wants to fuck hot guys. From what I can tell, she hasn't yet, but she has added a few guys from Tinder to her WhatsApp and been flirting with the idea of meeting them. In no way, shape, or form will I ever accept an open marriage. I have, of course, made screenshots of everything and even recording of the conversations on her laptop screen. For me, it feels like my marriage is already over. It's like I have been given a window into a part of my wife's mind that I wish didn't exist. I felt bad sometimes for looking at a girl's ass in the gym for more than 5 seconds and could lose sleep over how I might be betraying my wife by having indecent thoughts, etc. Anyone else gone through something like this? How do I even confront her? Story 2. My ex, 28 male, messaged me 4 months after he broke up with me, 26 female, to tell me he's unhappy without me and life has no meaning now. So my ex broke up with me about 4 months ago, saying that he feels like he needs to focus on himself as he's not happy with his life right now, and although he still loves me, he feels like it's just not the same experience anymore. We've been together for just over a year. He broke up with me 1.5 week after our anniversary, where he wrote me an essay on the back of our picture together about how much he loves me and how much he's looking forward to our future together. As it all happened completely out of blue and with no prior signs, I asked him for some clarification, but he refused to talk to me about anything in detail at that time and brushed all of my questions off with a simple, "I don't want to talk." The whole surprise breakup talk lasted maybe 20 minutes at most, and to make things worse, he actually brought all of my stuff from his place with him and gave them back to me in the moment. He also brought a few things we shared, printer, camping table, etc., and said I can keep those without paying him back. If I agree, he can keep a few other of our shared things. When he was leaving, I told him to not even dare to ever message me again if he's not going to have anything valuable to say to me. I was left with essentially nothing and had to fill in the blanks he left myself in order to move on. I started counseling and managed to piece myself together, accepted what happened, but I'll never get answers and moved on. Fast forward 3 months and I've started dating my neighbor, and I'm in a really good place right now. And now, 4 months after the breakup in NC, he messaged me. He sent me a very long message about how much his actions must have hurt me and how much of a loser he is. He asked how I was and expressed how proud he is of my side business doing well. I run a small handmade business on top of my full-time job. He also asked if we could meet up for a coffee or a drink by saying that he thinks we're mature enough to have a casual conversation. The message rubbed me the wrong way a bit, as there was no apology or real acknowledgement of what he did. Just a lot of on horrible and deserve nothing kind of sentences, which made me think he's not in a good place mentally right now. I refused to arrange to go for a drink, but agreed to meet up at the local beach for a walk if the conversation doesn't feel too awkward or uncomfortable. We've met up today, and he did apologize. Then he proceeded to tell me again how much of a loser he is, and that he wanted to message me for a while. He said that on Halloween he remembered how good of a Halloween we had together last year, and he really misses that feeling. I asked why did he want to meet up, and his answer was, "I just wanted to see you and make sure you're okay." He said he broke up with me because he wasn't happy and he thought it was because of our relationship, but now he can see he's even more unhappy without me and he made a horrible mistake. He was constantly bringing up our small inside jokes from the time we were together. I asked about his friends and he said he's got no friends in the city anymore and he's thinking of going back to his country. He also hinted at one of the reasons for possibly going back is that without me in his life there's no point in staying. I decided to end the walk as it was simply just getting too much for me. I wished him all the best and he said he'd love to see me again in the future. I didn't reply to that and repeated that I wish him well. He then texted me again an hour later to thank me for meeting up with him and listening to him. He again repeated he made a huge mistake but unfortunately can't turn back time and wishes me all the best. I feel horrible now. I feel horrible for moving on even though I'm aware I had all the right reasons to move on. I just don't know what to make out of all this and what was his goal. Anyone here with similar experiences? Thank you.